Thank you so much, John. It's a genuine pleasure to be joining everyone today in the meeting. There are some days that stand out in a minister's career, and I remember being called into the office of the then Home Secretary, Sajid Javid, in very, very early 2019, to be told that he had secured £200 million from the then Chancellor to tackle serious violence amongst young people in particular. And this was an extraordinary opportunity. It's not every day that you get a cheque like that from the Treasury to invest in things that you care so much about as we do at the Home Office. And so I was absolutely delighted when he told me this and thought, what an amazing opportunity. We're going to be able to do some real good with this. My excitement was tempered only slightly when he went on to tell me that the Treasury had given us a couple of months in which to set up this £200 million endowment fund over 10 years in order to invest it, and that we were going to have to start work that very day. I have to say, Home Office officials rose to the challenge, and we managed to set the terms of the fund, set the terms of the tendering process, and so on and so forth. And kind of a not very long story short, we arrived at the position whereby John and his team had won the bid and were setting up the Youth Endowment Fund for us. And it's been an absolute pleasure to work alongside them in how this fund has been set up and how it is developing. And we had a couple of really big asks for the team. It was that it's a 10-year fund, and so it's locked in. This is absolutely deliberate because we want this investment to be in the long term. We know sometimes some of these programs take a while to show results. We wanted to have that follow through, if you like, and that determination throughout the next decade. We also wanted to evaluate what works and what doesn't work. And as you've seen from Pete's presentation just before, there are some programmes for which there is a great deal of evidence that it works. And there are other programmes which perhaps instinctively, intuitively, we may think, oh, that sounds like a good idea. But having looked at the analysis of the 2000 studies or so, it turns out that there isn't so much evidence. And so this evaluation is critical, not because we like evaluating things just for the sake of evaluating them, but because from that flows better decisions at local level. So this toolkit is about helping all of the local commissioners that are on this call make better decisions for their local communities, invest in the programmes that work, perhaps stop investing in programmes that don't have the success that we would expect and hope from taxpayer funded programmes. And to ensure that those resources that are so, we cannot, we don't have a limitless pot of money. We have got to spend taxpayers' money responsibly. It's to help local commissioners achieve that, to help invest their money wisely for the real benefit of their local communities. And it's been a real pleasure to sit alongside the Youth Endowment Fund over the last year or two to see them set these processes up. And you've seen this morning already just how accessible the toolkit is, because we were very, very clear again that as part of this toolkit, if we're going to help local commissioners make good decisions about how to prevent serious violence in their local areas, we needed it to be as accessible as possible. You do not have time to read 2000 academic studies as the brilliant team behind the Youth Endowment Fund have done. You just need to know what works and what doesn't work. So that's the thinking behind the toolkit. And I genuinely think it's a really exciting opportunity, because I think we're all now in the place where we understand that with serious violence, particularly where we're trying to prevent young people being dragged into gangs and serious violence, we cannot just rely on the police. The police are vital, of course, they're a vital part of the formula, but we cannot just rely on the police to do this for us. We have to work together across local councils, across local agencies, and across national governments as well. And so this work I very much see as tying in with other work that the government is undertaking, specifically violence reduction units, but also the serious violence duty, which I'm sure you know we are in the middle of scrutinising, the Police Crimes Sentencing and Courts Bill. I'm the Bill Minister on it. It's a great privilege to be leading the work on that. But we're introducing through that bill the serious violence duty that will apply to local agencies across the country. And so this toolkit, to my mind, complements the direction of travel, the very clear direction of travel that the Prime Minister has set and the Home Secretary has set, that we have to not just go after perpetrators of serious violence, we have to try to stop young people from getting involved in serious violence in the first place. So really, really pleased to be here at the launch today. You've had a run through of how it will work. And I'm just going to sort of pose the question, well, when might local commissioners use the toolkit? There will be many, many examples, but a couple of examples that we have thought of is, for example, a director of children's services might use the toolkit in order to understand whether a parenting programme or family therapy has the most impact on reducing violence. Or when commissioning a service, a director of a violence reduction unit may use the toolkit to decide whether mentoring or sports intervention or cognitive behavioural therapy for those who have been arrested and diverted from the criminal justice system is the best type of programme to invest in. So there are many ways in which I think this toolkit will quickly become part of our day-to-day business, and I'm absolutely delighted that we're launching it today. I'm really keen as well that much as I'm hoping local commissioners and local agencies will use it, I very much hope and expect that government, national government, will use it as well. And of course, we at the Home Office will lead the way with that. But as we have discussions with our health colleagues, with education colleagues and others, I will be very much pointing them in the direction of the toolkit to say to them, look, we're already starting the hard work in terms of what works and what's been evaluated as working. Let's try to work together to ensure that we're being consistent in the messages we're sending out. So it's a really, really exciting opportunity. It isn't often in the Home Office we get to talk in positive terms. Sadly, our remit tends to tackle the darkest aspects of humanity. But I genuinely think that the toolkit, with the other measures that we're employing across government, is a real opportunity to draw the best out of our young people, to divert them from those terrible, terrible gangs and other forms of violence that we know, sadly, many are experiencing, and to give them an opportunity for the future to leave that behind them and to grow into being healthy, happy adults. So working with you all, I look forward to hearing over the next 8 or so years how the toolkit is working out and how it's helped you make decisions at a local level. So thanks very much, everyone.